Howdy, Cowboy Gamer here, and you're listening to episode 20 of Horseshoes and Handhelds, or what used to be called the Portable Gaming Podcast, where we talk about fun things that usually have to do with the handheld market. So, mobile, 3DS, Vita, maybe PSP if I'm feeling into it, and every once in a while, maybe some horse stuff. Uh, but let's start off with my usual segment, what I have been playing. This is the only place where we talk about something other than handheld sometimes, at least if I'm interested in playing them. So I have had a amazing week. For any of you that don't know, it was my birthday week, and I had an amazing time. Amazing time. Not everything was because it was my birthday week, but it just felt like I got surprise after surprise or something cool happened. So the first thing that was awesome that happened this week, and it was right near the end of my birthday, but I got my E3 demo copy of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I was really late at night, like 11 p.m. I checked my emails just randomly, and they were like, hey, here's your code. It was just my Steam code. It wasn't for a specific console or anything, but I got super excited. I immediately kind of stopped what I was doing, got the code activated on Steam, started downloading to get it as soon as humanly possible so I could start playing. Uh, I did see a little bit of the gameplay, kind of what the level looked like in the final boss in an E3 YouTube video, since I was not actually at E3, but to actually be able to play it was super exciting. Few things I want to talk about. The controls were originally set up for either a hand or a console, not for PC. So all of the prompts were saying, "Hey, push up or down." Those things were easy enough, but like attacking, opening menus, all of that was in had prompts for other buttons on a controller, let's say. So it was really hard. I actually started playing it for like 5-10 minutes and was having so much trouble finding the keys to do everything that I killed my video and restarted since I started to learn more of how to control the characters. So you can check that out on YouTube and kind of see and get my impressions live as I'm going through it. But I had a lot of trouble with controls, so it was not originally designed for a Steam PC launch. Um, what I saw, it was about a 20-minute demo. You could do it a lot faster, but I kind of tried to explore the entire map. Um, One of the things in normal Castlevania is you can take down the lamps and get coins and specialty things. I kind of spent a lot of time, made sure I destroyed a lot of lamps. One thing that does happen is when you kind of go back in the area, all the lamps reappear and enemies kind of reappear. So it's really easy to just farm credits and farm extra stuff. I got to fight a boss at the end of the demo, which was a pretty nice feeling boss fight. Good mechanics in there, good things to worry about. But the demo runs out part way through the boss fight, so you probably do about half their damage or 3/4, and then the demo ends. It's really sad because I didn't know that was exactly how the E3 demo ended, but I was super excited. I was like, "Oh, this! I feel like I'm gonna kill this boss," and then the demo ended. I was like, "Oh, it's so sad." All felt really good towards the end. Uh, the magic type stuff, it's not really considered magic, but you cast certain spells. It felt really good in this game. It all has to do with like the stained glass effect, so that was cool. The controls all felt good. It looked pretty good. The only problems I had were I had some animation problems. It's similar to Symphony of the Night, kind of where you walk right and then you turn left, and it's just kind of a slow turn animation. It's not really quick. It's something I've had problems with for a while, but it is also in Bloodstain. It was the one thing I really was not happy with. Everything else seemed good. Sliding on the floor, attacking, jumping at different heights. You weren't required to jump the same height every time. It all felt really good in controlling. So once I learned all the controls, so it seemed fluid and very well responsive. So that I really liked. Um, One thing else that's kind of an EGA thing is um, there was certain things that were just a little off-colored or really bright to kind of emphasize edges of characters or edges of bosses or enemies, different colory things. That's very much an EGA thing. It still seemed pretty good. I think the visual, if I wasn't playing on my PC, if I was playing on my handheld, I would have loved it. I think it would have looked great, but just something that wasn't as much for me. But again, this is an E3 copy, so we're still a ways out. I know that when the Kickstarter started, they were expecting to finish this game in a year to 15 months. There's no way that's the case. Probably more like 2 years or a year and a half before this game comes out, but nonetheless, I'm very happy that I backed this, and I look forward to getting the final product for whatever I decide, probably my handheld, just because I think I'd rather play this type of a game on the Vita or 3DS. I might just choose the Vita because if we had learned anything from mine number 9, it seems like it's harder to get games on the 3DS. But enough of really awesome PC 20 minutes, but I've also been playing World of Warships. This month was, for June, was all about getting 2 new Tier 5 battleships. You kind of have to fight and do a lot of damage with other ships, and if you did enough, then you won these as a reward. So I got both of them. Supposedly there's another ship, a third ship in the group, but it might have been a reward for a previous month or last year, some other acceptance. So I must not been playing while that was happening. I still have a couple of videos I posted on my YouTube also for that, of just some really fun games I've been having, or games I've been getting a lot of ships killed, stuff like that. I have not been playing my Wii U, though I look at it and I actually want to. Kind of since I got my PS4, I put my Wii U down. I haven't touched it. Every so often though, I look at it. I'm like, I really had fun with this. I should be playing it or something. I've got Xenoblade. I've got Mario Maker. I've got Mario Kart. I've got good games on it. I don't turn it on. Like, if I have an option, I turn the PS4 on, I don't turn the Wii U on. So, just a little sad. That's definitely going to change when Zelda comes out, or if a demo comes out for Zelda, or anything for Zelda that I can do. I will totally turn on my Wii U just if I have to watch something Zelda. It'll probably be on YouTube, but if they did something special where it was only on the eShop, I'd be down with that, and I'd turn it on for that. For 3DS, since it was my birthday week, I got Bravely Second End Layer. Good birthday present. I just started it, so it's only been a few days. I've been playing it kind of slow, um, kind of figuring everything out. I mean, it's very similar to the original Bravely Default. You can brave for more attacks, default for more defense. It seems good, but kind of just more of the same. So it's a good RPG with jobs and skills. So I'm really excited about that. It is. I was a big fan. Excuse me. I was a big fan of Tactics. So having something similar to Tactics is still great. So, even though the reviews are a little lower than expected for the first one, and people just aren't really happy with it just because it seems like they got it out, they pushed it really fast, but they really didn't do something new with the series, that's okay. I'm still excited and I still want to play this through. I'm still in the early areas, just kind of going back and forth, getting more job points, leveling up. It's a little slow, but I'm not pushing too hard. But I'm enjoying it, and probably after this, if I have time, I'll go back to it today. Or great for killing 20 minutes before work or stuff like that. I also got back into Pokemon Shuffle. Some of you guys probably aren't happy with that just because that was all I did for a couple of months was just play Pokemon Shuffle religiously and just hundreds of hours into Pokemon Shuffle. But uh, kind of when you let sit for a long time, you come back and it gives you just tons of hearts, and so you have tons of play and availability, and they're getting so much closer to having all the Pokemon available. So kind of if they run out and the new game releases, and then maybe a year after this November, they have every Pokemon in the game available. I might just kind of sit and work at doing it because really all I have is about 200 of them captured, and the fact that it's possible to get all the Pokemon at some point would be really cool. So you always gotta catch them all, even though sometimes Pokemon are only available for for short periods um, in the game. They're in for special games or survival or something where they're not available, but except for like a week, and then they're available anymore. But every once in a while, they rotate them back through, so it'd still be exciting to catch all of them someday. But I did do some survival mode. I wasn't happy with my first one because it takes so long. My battery died in the middle of it. It was just one of those things. I closed my 3DS and forgot to put it on the charger, and then came back and it was dead. So, also there's supposedly a Mega Gyarados available, uh, and I really want that just because Gyarados is so great. But it seems like in the special thing for getting the Gyarados, you have to pay 300 coins every time you battle it. So it's kind of not a you know the special battle's coming up and you know which one it is. It's kind of they're really forcing you to purchase money to keep playing and buy hearts, and so you farm up enough experience to get the Mega Gyarados. Final game on my 3DS I've been playing is Super Mario World. I'm in the Forest of Illusion. I know I'm really far in that. After like 3-4 hours, I got there. And once I got there, I've just been having a lot of trouble on one level. It always has given me trouble. It's like Forest of Illusions 3 or 4. It's a secret passage down to the castle for that, like Castle 5, I think. And I've been super having problems, and I know there's tons of videos. I think I remember kind of how to get through it. I'm having trouble, and I'm kind of fighting between just watch the video and figure out how to do it, or see if I can play around with it for a while. But with Pokemon Shuffle and Lair, I don't really want to go back to Super Mario Maker or Super Mario World, even though I've played it so much before, and it was one of my great Super Nintendo games. Haven't touched my PS Vita for a couple of weeks. So that said, even though I've been wanting to play Final Fantasy and I'm at a near ending part, just haven't done it. But I have been putting time into Uncharted 4 this week. I've done the first 8 chapters. My wife and I are kind of slowly playing through it, a chapter almost every couple of nights, or 2 chapters sometimes. We are definitely starting to get burned out of the series just because over the last 2.5 months we have gone through 3.5 Uncharted games back to back to back. But I've known my wife isn't as interested in Uncharted 4. The graphics are great. It feels great. Some of the mechanics are interesting, but some of the chapters just feel really long the way I'm playing them. So it's not bad. I know that the story is going to really progress somewhere in the next few chapters. Something's going to happen where it's going to turn everything around. I think I know what might happen, but I really just stayed away from spoilers. But I'm still enjoying it, and I'm really excited to finish this final game in the series. So that's all what I've been playing. So let's check up with the news. There is a big mess of stuff. I know it seems like every week there's very few new games announced, or the week comes out and they're like, "Hey, this week we'll give you one PS Vita game, or like two 3DS games or something," and they're closing out. Vita's dead, and the 3DS they're getting ready for the NX, so they're not doing much. However, if you're looking at the Japanese and European markets and everything, there are a ton of games being announced. Some of these games are being announced in Japan. They're like, maybe we'll bring them over to America or Europe, and then sometimes they're like, hey, here's a release date in America. Yeah, it's sometime next year, but we're gonna bring this game over. So after the NX comes out, there still may be pretty good amounts of games for 3DS. So let's talk about that. But first, amiibos. I know I talked about last week about the Zelda amiibos for Breath of the Wild. Super excited about those. Those are probably going to get my love of amiibos back going again. And actually, the other day, yesterday, I saw the Skylander amiibo Donkey Kong, the car and the actual figure. So I'll probably pick those up just because it's kind of that weird thing. Like they could only be gotten in a Skylander starter set, so I'm not paying a ton of money. But I randomly saw it out in the wild, and I think I'm just gonna pick them up just because they're unique. They're amiibos, but they're also Skylanders, and they just look different for being Donkey Kong Bowser. So I'll pick up Donkey Kong, and I'll keep my eyes out for Bowser. But Metroid Prime Federation Force, I know not a lot of people are excited about this game. It has some potential, but it's pretty low potential. I'm just gonna keep an open mind, but uh, I'll see what keeps happening and see how reviews go. But until it comes out, I'm not pre-ordering this. But you can scan amiibos and get logos onto the cockpit mask. Um, and it didn't say what amiibos all work, but the ones all pictured in all the ads were the Super Mario Brothers line, so just those ones with the red bases. So I would hope the Smash Brother ones work too, but no one said anything, and no one's shown any other ones than that Mario Brothers line. For new games announced, some of this has dates, some of it doesn't. Remember, I'm looking at the whole world, and there still may be some games I missed announced for Europe or something, but I'm doing a pretty good job considering last week wasn't as great, even though E3 happened. I felt like it was a very low announcement week for everything. But in Japan for September 15th, we got Battle for Money was announced. Digimon Universe, Appley Monsters announced, but no date. And Lifespeed was announced for August 2016. I think that's actually a game announced for an American release, but they didn't really clarify. But I wouldn't doubt it's just a worldwide release. Games that are getting a North American release. As we all know, Monster Hunter's Generations, there's a release date is July 15th, but we're getting a demo on June 30th, so definitely pick that up if you're semi-curious in Monster Hunter. If you like it, you will put hundreds of hours into that game. If you don't, you don't. It's got some interesting mechanics. It's a little low on the visuals, but it's a really great game if you have a few friends that play 3DS, even over long generations or the online stuff of just randomly picking up random friends through 3DS. It works. I tried out 4 for the first time, and I put I think 200 hours into that game, so I had a lot of fun. I actually played just a little bit of it earlier this week just to see if it was still something I liked, but I'll try the demo and see if they've done much with the game or if it's just more of the same. But I want to try it out. Box Boy or Box Boy 2 is coming out on June 30th. We got Dragon Quest VII Fragments of the Forgotten Past that's coming out on September 16th. Mario Party Star Rush, November of this year. That looks like that's kind of one of the Christmas games, along with Pokemon for the 3DS. Yokai Watch 2. Now, this looks like they're doing the same thing as Pokemon, so they're doing 2 different games that have different effects or different Pokemon. I don't know. Maybe a different legendary, whatnot. But one is called Bony Spirits and Fleshly Souls. That comes out on September 30th. So they're definitely into the Pokemon space. And then games coming to the 3DS. And this looks like this was a Vita game or a PC game, but now it's getting a port over. It is Guruman, A Monstrous Adventure. That's coming sometime this summer, hopefully. Don't know if I'm super excited about too much of this. I really like the idea of Box Boy, but I'm not a Dragon Quest fan. I used to be I kind of never was a Mario Party fan, and Yokai Watch, I think they're trying to push that as the new Pokemon because they know they're running out of Pokemon. They just don't want to keep spending so much time on this franchise. So I think they're eventually going to weed it out and push Yokai as the new thing, but I don't think a lot of people are going to be happy, especially with how much Pokemon brings in America and Japan, how many people love this series. So they love it. It's been around for a while. I don't know if they can end it. I mean, with the cards, with everything, even if they stop making new Pokemon, just doing the same series with the same number of Pokemon might get a little boring quick, so they might have to end everything someday, but they're prepping with Yokai, and hopefully they can get America to really get into it, and if they do, they have a chance to phase out Pokemon someday. On Sony's end, as much as the Vita is dead, and again, I'm going to pronounce some of these games horribly. Atelier Furus, The Alchemist of the Mysterious Journey, is announced for a fall 2016 release in Japan. We have Neo Atlas 1469, now has a release date of October 27th in Japan. Project Code Dayton is supposed to be coming out next year in Japan. Demon Gaze 2 release date for October 13th in Japan, and One Piece Great Pirate Coliseum has a Japanese release date of September 21st now. North American stuff that'll be released, Root Letter sometime this year, Vault Millstone 1 fall of 2016, Rabby Ribby winter of 2016, Galgun Double Piece mid-July of 2016, and Caligula spring of 2017. Now, while it is dead, the one thing I've noticed is they are not super excited to stick to actual dates on these things. They give releases and they say Q1, Q2, Q3, or they give a month, but there have been so many problems with getting games ported over and finishing date games on the 3DS, on the Vita, because it seems like any teams involved with putting games on, that's not their only job. Unless you're looking at like Drankbox or something, teams are all working on tons of games or games for other systems. Very few, the companies that are in charge of them, they may say, hey, here's a 10-man team, you guys are going to work on this game for the Vita, and then they realize that, hey, we bit off too much on another game, 2 more of you guys have to go over and help out on this other project, so now you're down to 8, so hopefully you can get your release date, your window taken care of, and you can get this game out. But that's kind of what all the companies, the bigger companies, are doing, so they're sticking with it. They are still trying, but some of the games they've been releasing are just really Japanese heavy, or just kind of oddball pieces that I just haven't really been excited for. Almost none of these games, I saw some trailers for some of this stuff. None of this is exciting to me in any way, shape, or form. I haven't seen one game out of this mess. I will be listening to PS I Love You and other kind of funny things, because Colin has really given me some good games every once in a while. He says something is like, hey, you probably haven't heard of this series, but give it a try. You really might like it. And on occasion, he's very right. And so I really trust some of Kind of Funny's judgment on random weird games I probably never heard of, but we're waiting and we're seeing. We'll see if anything pops up and it's really cool. On the mobile market, yes, I know there's billions of games announced, and most of the time they don't have release dates. It's just like you wake up one day and they're available to purchase. But probably the two biggest things to talk about are Final Fantasy IX, and they didn't give a date. They didn't say anything. They just said will be out on iOS and Android soon. This was hilarious. It's a Final Fantasy. It's going to mobile, but they just are like someday you're gonna see it. Soon could be tomorrow, and soon could be next year because soon is relative. But it was funny. I got a kick out of it. The fact that they're trying to put some of the Final Fantasy games on Android and pushing that, but otherwise, we got Pokemon Go. And this is probably the thing the whole world is excited for. There's footage, there's beta tests. Everyone wants in on this, and if they're getting this released in July, everyone is excited. I have talked to most of my friends, and it looks like we'll be going again on the Red Team. Uh, a few people are not happy with going on the Red Team. They started with like Pokemon Blue or their starter Pokemon. They picked a Venusaur or a Bulbasaur or a Squirtle. Um, they didn't never pick a Charizard, or went yellow and they got Pikachu. But so many people, even though they picked the red copy, got other Pokemon, or if they picked another copy, they still picked Charizard sometimes. So a couple of them, we got a good mix of friends, but mostly everyone's better with the idea of we all want to be on the same team and work together. So uh, we'll see how the red team goes, and I mean I just love red, so I was gonna pick the red team almost no matter what. But uh, we'll see. We'll see how Pokemon goes when it comes out. I'm not getting the Pokemon Go Plus thing. I'll be happy with just the smartphone. I'd like to spend as little money on this game as possible, but I have talked with my wife, and depending on how much she likes it, I figure we'll drop $25 each into this game. Maybe a little more. Maybe I'll take a little bit more of the money since I'll probably be playing it more, and she can get like $10 of it. But we'll see. New games that are out this week. Again, this has been super difficult to figure out. At least Sony does the drop. I mean, yes, they didn't really release much for the Vita this week, but it just seems like I'm having so many troubles finding new or good sites that say, hey, this is what's coming out this week, or this is what's coming out next week. So, really sad about that. I'm blown away that it might be just because Nintendo and Sony really just don't have as good of an idea, and they're kind of running it down to the last minute and then realizing, hey, we're supposed to put out some games tomorrow and we don't have any Vita games to announce for tomorrow. We might need to do that, but that's kind of what the problem seems to be. So that they could just be hiding it on that, and they could know, but since it's so fluid and they just don't know exactly, that's where all the problems are. But I've tracked down what I can. So this week, yesterday on June 23rd, we got on the 3DS Super Ghouls and Ghosts. It should have been the Super Nintendo of Ghosts and Goblins kind of thing, I believe, if I remember right. Rubik's and Unholy Heights all came out on the 23rd. Not very much, but it's the 3DS again. The Battle Cats Pop. That's coming out on the 27th on the 3DS, so I'm excited about that. I'm sure there'll be more themes and some other random stuff coming out, but we're kind of waiting. So for Sony, Grand Kingdom and Funk of the Titans all came out. It's not much, but that's what the drop said. So, um, yeah, we got a couple games out for the Vita and coming out later this week, hopefully. God Eater Resurrection scheduled for June 28th, and Slain still has a June release, even though we're literally about 7 days away from the end of June. So they don't have much time, but if it's going to come out, it's probably on the 28th. So hope they can get Slain finished, or they need to announce and push it back to July or something. And that comes now to our newest and final segment that I brought up last week. Random horse facts that I'm going to talk about. Since I am Cowboy Gamer, I said I'm going to try and play some games with horses. Uh, Pocket Card Jockey, I still haven't purchased, even though for a few bucks. I wanted to talk some random things, and since I've been learning a lot about horses since I got married, I know a lot more now than I did. I at least know which end is up and which end is front and which end is back. So that's good. But some cool things I educated myself on a while ago and got some books on. But this segment will be on horse conformation, also called equine conformation. And we're not doing confirmation as in the religious sense that most of you Lutherans and Catholics did, but um, first off, equine uh, is generally, in layman's terms, it means anything like a horse. So, zebra, mule, or horses all fall into the equine family. So, horse conformation evaluates the degree of correctness of a horse's bone structure, musculature, and its body proportions in relation to each other. So, undesirable conformation can limit the ability to perform specific tasks. In the most, yes, that's the definition term. In the most basic terms, um, things about horse conformation, uh, the bite of a horse or the the tooth structure. If the teeth are off center or something, a horse will not be able to chew easily. Or if a tooth is really growing the wrong way, that will hamper a horse's ability to eat, which will hamper its intake of food and may make it malnourished or smaller or lighter, just not getting as much nourishment as it needs. So that's why horse conformation in that way is not good. Also, whether a horse toes in or toes out on both back feet and front feet matters because that hampers how it could run or gallop. So, while the goal is always to have perfect conformation, sometimes just a little lacking in certain areas, 90, 95, 85% conformation in certain areas, isn't still a bad thing because conformation in these areas can hamper certain tasks. But maybe you want a horse to do just be a barrel racer or kind of a herding horse, just a nice horse to ride out in the on the trails or something. If that's the case, then certain areas of conformation aren't going to be as big of a deal. However, in the major scenes, major breeding, uh, just horse racing, and some of the high end stuff where you're looking at millions of dollars, perfect conformation is key. If you have anything more than like 5% off of perfect conformation, people aren't going to touch a horse, which is sad, but it's good that some people recognize that certain conformation doesn't matter as much to certain tasks for a horse. So there's a lot of families that just want to go out for a nice ride, and that's why they want to own a horse. So couple of good things of confirmation, they're happy with it. Some confirmation can be corrected, especially dental stuff with horses with their bite and everything, but not a lot of stuff can be corrected. At different things on adding certain a thicker horseshoe or stuff can correct some things on confirmation or can even things out, but there's a ton of different parts and there's so much more in every pretty much part of the bone structure of a horse, the rib cage. If it's not laid out because of the proportions, that's bad conformation. So it's a lot more detailed and more information than anyone ever thought possible, but that's why I include as my first little tidbit of random horse facts. So I hope you guys enjoyed this segment, maybe even the random horse facts of this podcast. But I hope you guys are having fun. Like, follow, whatever you want to do on YouTube. Write me comments if you think some of these things are worthless or you think you're having more fun getting it from someone else. Tell me what the problem is. I would be glad to hear it. Also, I don't remember exactly what episode, but I put in a question um, that I said, "Hey, you guys need to comment on this. Send me a message. Give me an answer to this question. If you do, you'll win like a $10 gift card to a Sony gift card or a 3DS, whatever. Um, I'll see what I can do. That question has still not been answered. It was a very simple one. I thought if you listen to a lot of my videos, I'll try next week post the episode number in the comments or something, or I'll just make a mention of it. But if you guys want to go back and listen to that, figure out what the answer is, by all means, I'm still glad to give out the gift cards. So, hope you guys are enjoying this. I'll keep doing this as best I can, and I will see you guys next time.